Hey guys, what the hell's going on? Hello, hello. This is going to be my second take. My first one actually didn't get eaten. I ate it because I didn't like it. I'm trying to find some interesting things to chat about, and it's not so hard, but I thought, we would put some things to the ringer because that ringer, that we talk about is, the four, and I have everything all taken down now, which sucks, you know. Which means I'm just not prepared. But anyways, what I thought I would do is, go over the very first beginning of the Bible, and what we would do, what we call putting through the ringer, is we just call out certain parts of the Bible along those lines that we have in the worlds, the different, as it goes from four to four. It can be very revealing that way. But what we're getting out of most of this here is that in the beginning, and this is Genesis 1, and it's about instruction. Usually the 1 is about, hey, check it out. We're giving some instruction here. That's what 1 is, So this, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. These were both singular, all right? And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Okay, now, before we go any further, 2 is usually this. 2 is the spot with the moon, the second business about our mind or our emotions. And of course, this is the place where we do, where this is talking about the water. And this is where the female side is supposed to come from. All right, the female energy, or the idea of jumping into the water. All right, but you'll see how this gets to go, because that's a female energy, and you're going to hear later on that lower water that they gather together, which creates the dry land, and then the he sees. So it's the seas. It would be the male version of this. All right, it starts to make a little bit of sense. God called the light the daylight, and called the darkness night. And evening and morning were of the first day. This is beginning the second set of worlds. And God said, let there be a firmament. Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. This is number 6. 6 represents the works. 6 in itself represents what's inside of us. This is the midst. This is the midst. What's in the middle of us? What's in the midst of us? All right. And so what this is saying is, this is calling out that let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters to divide the waters from waters. And so what we're looking at here is there's got to be something that's going to divide earth from heaven, because this is where we get the division from. This idea that what's inside us winds up being physically our neck, all right? Because it's the body. The lower is the one that gets gathered and makes the land. So here's your earth, and it's also the lower mind. And it's the footstool for God. And of course, the heaven becomes the firmament, all right? Which is the head and the skull and all that business. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And so when these guys are divided like that, when they are divided, then we are in a position where this is the higher and the lower, what is above and what is below. All right. And remember, what we want to do is we want to connect them later on. They want heaven and earth to become as one. All right. We get, and God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. All right. So evening and morning they're talking it's the second day that also represents God's creation. Well, all of this is about God's creation, but the two things, a nighttime and a daytime thing. Daytime is Father, the mind, and nighttime is this red part, the moon. All right, we'll get in on that. And it says here on the new batch, the next line of worlds, God called. It starts with a 9. And God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. This is the lower mind, number 9. And God called the dry land earth, and gathered together all the waters he called, he sees. And God saw that it was good. Now, I do understand what that means when he said that he sees, because this is, seeds is going to water in these things is representing spirituality, the spirit. And so and in this situation, anything that's above, the lower mind, I mean, if it's connected to land, or the lower mind's connected to it, like the land and the he sees, they're connected. So it's a male energy. It's another situation, because this is, they're again referencing a lower nature, because it's God, and his, and this Holy Ghost. They're the ones that usually reign over this other side. It's a feminine energy. And so you'll find that when it's an outside thing, that it's a male energy, which is why I say, we go to men. It's because they're preachers. Priests are the ones that we go to for our comfort. We become the lovers of men, And God said, let there be grass. Let the earth bring forth grass, and herbs yielding seeds, fruit trees yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed is in itself. And it says the fruit tree yielding fruit. The fruit tree. Just one. The fruit tree that after his own kind, whose seed is in itself. And this is you. This is your soul also. All right. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding and all of its kind. And God saw that it was good. Now we got a whole nother batch of worlds. And the evening and the morning were the third day. That's a combination of God. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament and heaven to divide day from night. And let them be for signs and seasons, for days and for years. So here's the zodiac coming into life. And let them be for lights in the firmament and heaven to give light upon the earth. Now, light, when they talk about light upon the earth, they're talking about influences. Because remember, when the moon goes dark, it no longer has an influence on us, because Mother's coming in. And it even turns red. And it says that the moon stops giving her light. She stops giving us any kind of effect. She no longer affects us. We no longer are affected by her. And the lower mind and the lower conscious is gone. It's devoured. It says, and God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule by the day and one by the night. So I will tell you that what this means is darkness is about being dead. And this idea of being in the daytime is about being alive. Okay? And God set upon, so we're governed while we're dead, while you're alive on earth, and dead in spirit, and you're feeding from the he sees, that's where you're getting your spirituality from. They're calling it salt water. It's nasty, all right? It says, so, you want to get that fresh water, and that fresh water is where you find that by finding this well inside of you. And it says here, and God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly, bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl. So this here is bringing about, I want something, the beautiful side. This is this idea that this is where the whale comes in, And it says here on number 21 that God created great whales and great creatures. See, things that are in the water, things that are in this water that they're talking about represent truths, you know. And of course, being swallowed by the truth is to be swallowed by God, you know. And to be a part of this thing with the raven or the birds and stuff like that, not necessarily ravens, but birds, the fowl of the air. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the waters and the seas, and let fowl multiply upon the earth." And this was of the fifth day. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind." All right, we had the water bring about its creature. Remember, there's like a Leviathan, and then there's something else, the two different creatures. All right, one for the water and then one for the land. And it says here, and God made the beast of the earth after his kind. He says, yeah, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after its kind, and God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." Now, this is a lot about, about a you and a me in there. There's hardly anything saying something that is a singular thing here. God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let him have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creepy thing that creepeth upon the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. That's a little bit of crazy talk there, you guys, but all he's really doing is he's only made one mind. He's only made one brain. He's worked on one consciousness, and that consciousness has a female side to it, which is the positive side, like a battery, like a power source in itself. And it has a male side to it, the carnal mind, and it's the male end of things. So beautiful, yeah. So this is representing God. What is Elohim? Having a balanced mind, have balanced something right. The right and the left together are an equal. All right. God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. Subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the sea. And behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed upon the face of this earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, and it shall be yours for meat." They're talking again about this myths where we have to go to find this is the vine, all right? "And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth on the earth, whereas therein is life, I have given every green herb for meat." And it was so. And God saw everything that he made, and behold, it was good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. So we've only made it to the sixth chakra. All right. That's what we're doing here. We're working on these built conscious. So far, he's worked on the body. He's worked on the brain. This is the land, earth, and heaven. All right. Firmament is what's in between us. Built in the middle of us is this way of being able to separate us from this. That you can't just come over to this other side. There's something there. There's something blocking you. And we're going to find out what that blocking is a little bit later. But, of course, that's what we do find out. But Eve has not been made yet. Neither has a male or a female body been made or even born. What we're looking at here is consciousness, the brain of a human being being created. And even then, does this brain get human beings become if the breath, it gets breathed some into his nostrils, into his nostrils. Yeah, when you think he's got nostrils, he becomes a living soul. And so we are not souls. We are human beings. And our soul is not a flesh and blood thing. It's some kind of seed of God that's inside of us. It's our brother. That's what we've been talking about this last couple of months. All right. So, anyways, this is what Earth looks like. Looks like a human body, right? That's how it looks like. And so, we are the center of the universe. We are everything. All right. I'll chat with you soon. I hope you got something out of this.